Dear colleagues, thank you very much for this opportunity to present some potential cooperation programs which we could develop in cooperation with Mongolia, South Korea and other countries. And this is a very important event, 25th International Conference of the Mid Latitude Region Network. And we have a lot of organization, a lot of educational organization, a lot of universities who are trying to develop this cooperation program. And my presentation is related to forestry, forest shelter belts for climate change adaptation, flood and drought mitigation. And this is diagram, what is presentation about how to restore these desert areas, you see, without trees, without anything. But if we have related topography where potentially may water return, if we plant properly trees, water may return. And so this is called biosphere dome. It's something, it looks like similar to Mongolian yurt and Kazakh yurt, and how we can develop this type of program. And I'm looking for potential partners who could be involved in this type of cooperation programs. And this effort is related to current activities, current effort, what Mongolia is working on, and what Mongolian president is targeted to develop with Mongolian people on planting 1 billion trees. So it's a very ambitious program. It's a very complicated program. It's not easy. Planting is not enough. It's necessary to grow these trees. It's like growing babies, and it takes a lot of time. And we need a lot of efforts and involvement of many people. And so this is a discussion how we can involve more people. So it's not like the big decision makers should be involved in these activities, and each person, each family, each child in countries should be involved in these activities, and how we can do it. Yeah, and this program is well supported by many organizations, and the United Nations Secretary support this program, and he visited Mongolia, and Mongolia has this international think tank for landlocked developing countries. So Mongolia is very active with United Nations program, and Kazakhstan also is targeted to expand its activities with United Nations, and our President Tokayev also is targeted to have a United Nations Regional Center for Sustainable Development for Central Asia and Afghanistan. So it will be reasonable to set up a more connected program between our countries, between our presidents, President Mongolia and Kazakhstan. Would be reasonable to support them more and develop connected programs. And also I visited recent United Nations summit in New York recently. It was a big event, high political forum, and also discuss about these opportunities. And I met a Mongolian representative in United Nations in New York. So it was very helpful, and they have a good explanation what Mongolia is doing. So that's why I'm here in Mongolia now in this August, beginning of August, and hoping to expand and make stronger our ties. And we have a lot of similarities. We have a lot of difficulties and disaster events, and so it will be reasonable to share our difficulties and also share opportunities and learn from each other. And one of such problem is related to fires, forest fires. Mongolia had a big forest fire recently. You may see in the red color. Mongolia had a big fires, and also in Kazakhstan we had big wildfires. And it will be reasonable to develop more sustainable program, and how to keep our forest and trees stronger. So, and we should have less fires based on the experience of other countries and based of experience of each other. And another problem what we are facing in our countries is related to urbanization. Urbanization is a big issue because in Mongolia, Ulaanbaatar have a lot of people, and Ulaanbaatar just very condensed, and a lot of people in this city. And Mongolia is quite big country. It will be reasonable to have more incentives and spread people, and to have people living all over the Mongolia, to have to create some incentives to stay more in different areas of Mongolia. And also in Kazakhstan we have similar problems, similar issue. Kazakhstan also is quite big country, and you may see just a couple of cities as Almaty and Astana very condensed, and people from rural areas are moving to cities, and rural regions are getting abandoned. And so it's necessary to work on this issue, create some incentives so people should stay more in different regions of Kazakhstan, not only in Almaty and in Astana, because pollution is quite big problem, and so it's necessary to set up proper programs to make it more healthy. And we may learn together what other countries are doing, what the current activities, what Mongolia is doing with South Korea. South Korea shares their expertise a lot. So if we can expand it and see what other countries are doing, for example, Canada is also involved in this activity. They had many fires also in Canada, and how they create some incentives and how they involve more local people. And this program looks like very interesting. It's called birthplace forest. So they plant trees from the childhood. So when you have a baby, and when parents just give a birth, also they plant in the name of this child a new tree. So babies and children from the childhood, they have tree as brothers and sisters. So it's very interesting experience, and how they train the young generation from the childhood, from the birth. And maybe we can adapt this type of programs. We don't have this type of programs in Kazakhstan, but in Canada it's interesting that in hospitals they have this dedicated certificate, and when you have a baby you have to have this type of certificate, and plant forest and plant trees, and children from the childhood, they respect trees as brothers and sisters, and so it's very important. And families and children will look after their brothers and sisters as trees more responsibly, because in Kazakhstan we have this problem when some organization or administrators plant trees, but they count everything by planting, and it will be reasonable to track it, how it will survive this tree, because survival of these trees is quite a big problem. It's another issue. We plant each year, and many trees are not surviving, and survival of these trees is quite a big problem and a big question area. So let's see if we can discuss about it, and maybe we can learn from Canada and adapt something similar in Kazakhstan and Mongolia. Let's discuss. And another opportunity, and what other countries are doing, is Slovakia. They also had a big fires, and they're working on restoration of their areas, and it's also landlocked country, Slovakia, and so they use more contour strip organization of their land, and they use this biosphere dome system. Yeah, so just so you can see that maybe we can adapt this program in our prairie steppe area if we have this type of planting of the trees, so it may create micro region, and trees, and people will look after these trees themselves, because it's create a good environment for this house, microclimate. And if we have this type of contour strip organization of the land, and it will be more sustainable. So this is idea how it works. It works in many countries now, and it's not so expensive, with reasonable expenses. Just if you set up this type of facility, and soil be used as sponges, and it collects water instead of building big dams and big reservoirs. Water holds in soil, so soil is getting as dams. It holds water, and so if you have, for example, this area, like areas without trees, without anything, but area which has capacity to transfer into rivers, and rivers or small streams can be restored. You may see this how it works here. So this area is like dome, it's like yurt, so it's like Mongolian yurt or Kazakh yurt, and trees, big trees with their root system get water, and through evapotranspiration it creates this humidity, and this evapotranspiration works for attraction of the humidity, and clouds may stay here more, and water may circulate locally in these small areas. So this type of programs would be reasonable to expand. We hope to develop this type of programs more in Kazakhstan, and let's see if Mongolian also doing something similar, and let's learn from each other. So this is a strategy. You may see if you have this type of stream, which are not stable, but if we plant the trees in this way, it may be restored, and we will have this proper stream. So water may restore, and it may be rivers come back. And also this type of program is very good for keeping keeping soil in proper condition. So you see this combination of this program and this program, and this program would be really very nature-based system. So we restore, we're recreating nature. It's more natural, and the local people are involved more in these activities. They look after these trees themselves, and also their children could be involved in these activities, and so it will be more sustainable way. So what's the problem we are facing in Kazakhstan now? Till now we're trying to build mostly dams. So if we have this type of areas, we usually build dams here, dams, reservoirs, and just water may hold here, and here we will have another situation, and so on, without developing this type of program. So we are hoping to convince and to have this contour strip organization of the land like this one. And so when we have forestry activities, usually forest just planted separate cities, just buildings, and separate trees. and it will be reasonable to have some kind of mixture. So for example, if we plant trees in this way, like contour strip of line, so house could stay here, just spread it a little bit, and increase soil moisture. So you may see this like small canals and organics here, and grass will be green in this case. It's not, will not be dried up. So, and trees also will be in this. If we plant trees in this way, by this contour strip of lines, it may collect more snow and more precipitation, less erosion will be in this area, and water somehow help water to move underground. It will increase soil moisture. So for example, if we make this level, so like you can imagine, so that we have like this contour strip lines. So we have geodesy and measure this topography. For example, this line of 100 meters above sea level, next 200 meters above the sea level, 400, 500, and plant trees by these lines. And so this is 100 meters above sea level, 200 meters above sea level, 400 and 500, 600. In this case, when we have water or snow, these areas will hold this water and snow, and water will go underground, and it will improve, it will work for soil moisture, and it will collect water. And in this case, if we have some fires will not spread on this area, because it's quite big distance, and because soil is healthy, and grass is healthy, so it will not be under fire. Only dry trees or dry grasses will be under influence of fire. So I think this type of program could be reasonable to expand in both countries, in Mongolia and Kazakhstan also, because we are quite similar. We have this type of areas, prairie areas all over our regions, and if we set up something similar, we may just improve sustainability and improve soil in our regions. This type of programs are very important to make some localization. So usually water moves and precipitation moves on the big areas when we get some big ocean, and precipitation works and moves by these big clouds. And if we have this type of areas like desert, water will not stay in this area. So these clouds will move, just simply move out. If we have like big cities without trees or only asphalt beton, water will not stay, just move out. But if we set up this type of facility with trees, and we have developed these biosphere domes, it will create some microclimate, microregion, and evapotranspiration transpiration will improve, water circulation will improve, and we may have more local precipitation, local water movement. You see small water cycle, small water cycle. So evaporation, it will stay. It attracts clouds. Clouds may stay here, and we'll have more precipitation here. So simply saying, water attracts water. So this is idea. So it will be reasonable to learn how to develop this type of facility and to have more technicians who can restore environment in this way. So to have some college and school and university training program who can develop this type of program, model it, predict it, work on topography, and set up this type of facility. And this type of efforts also, it's very important to make influence on the nature-based ecotourism activities, for example, this horse polo activities, because tourism is very important in our countries, and Mongolia is very active and works on the different sport activities with horses and use local tradition. And we can work in this direction and expand it to introduce, for example, horse polo. Horse polo is very interesting because it's quite expensive game, and it's very popular in other countries like South Korea, Singapore, and Canada, United States. It's in the UK. It's quite expensive game. It's necessary a lot of efforts to train these horses to play this game. It's not easy. But if you manage to train horses and to have, for example, dozens of these trained horses, you'll be a millionaire already. Yeah, because this type of horse course costs some thousands of dollars, so it will be interesting to investigate this opportunity. And we are hoping to set up this type of programs in Kazakhstan. We don't have it yet in Kazakhstan. For example, Korea, South Korea, they have this type of programs, and they play with Harvard University, for example, with students, and you may see it. It's very interesting. So it's a new opportunity, and let's see if we can develop cooperation on this type of programs. And also why it will be interesting to develop this umbrella of United Nations, because some countries have difficulties to communicate properly with each other. For example, Pakistan, India, they have difficulties with each other. They cannot play this type of game with each other on inside of their countries. But we are neutral. Mongolia and Kazakhstan, we are neutral, and we can invite this type of countries who have difficulties in communication with each other. Maybe through these games, they may play these games in our countries, in Mongolia and Kazakhstan, and it will be more peaceful activities, and people may compete with each other in the good way, and like make a festival, and eventually without big fighting, just competitions through the sport activities. And as I mentioned, this is quite expensive sport activities, and it may help and create incentives for rural areas in Mongolia and Kazakhstan to work in this area. But we need to learn it. Yeah, we need experts, we need technicians, and we need college system. Let's see if we can set up this type of programs. And why horses are very interesting to work on? Because we have a problem of overgrazing in Kazakhstan, in Mongolia. We have a lot of sheep, and the problem of with sheep that when they eat grasses, quite often they get grasses with roots, and it's getting some kind of big overgrazing. But horses, interesting that their teeth are very strong. When they eat grasses, they just cut it. And so maybe we can have more horses in our countries. And horse riding tourism could be also. So horses looks like very interesting. So let's discuss about it. Who may have interest, and maybe we can develop this geopark activities and learn from each other. So it looks like it could be a big opportunity because in Mongolia and Kazakhstan we like horses, and if we develop a business by using horses and this horse polo, and they could be more sustainable for our region. And Mongolia has thousands of years of expertise to be with horses, and maybe we can expand it. Yeah. And for this purpose, we need to train, to teach a lot of people, and we need more young people involved in this training program. And Mongolia has declared that next year, 2000 year, will be emphasize more education. And your president of Mongolia has this President Scholar program. And we have a lot of similarity in these activities. We also support education. Our president support education. But what problem we're facing in Kazakhstan, we have a lot of educated people on university level, but many of them have general knowledge without practical knowledge. So what I explained everything before, so it's more related to practical training, to work in rural areas. So when people get training in most universities, they usually stay in university in cities. Many of them wants to be big managers, ministries, and so on. But we need more technicians. For example, in Kazakhstan, our president also mentioned that 70% of Kazakh employees are dissatisfied with qualification of college graduates. So we have problem with college system. We don't have technicians who can fix something, who can work on GIS, on modeling, who work on the lab works, or who set up all this surface groundwater resources. So we have problem with this issue. And our president wants to emphasize more on these activities. And let's discuss about it also. Maybe we can work on this issue together and find proper solution how we can develop this type of cooperation program. And these activities could be under umbrella of United Nations, and Mongolia supports this international think tank for landlocked developing countries, and it could be related to this technician training program. And also in Kazakhstan, if we set up this United Nations regional hub for sustainable development goals, so we may just make some kind of matching connection. And so it could be with this Mid Latitude Cooperation Network, if we set up this Kazakhstan, Mongolia, South Korea, Slovakia, United States, Canada, this line, so we may learn what other countries are doing. Maybe other countries from our group may join it. And it will be interesting to learn, for example, Niagara Falls on the border of United States and Canada. And it's very interesting how farmers work here, how they develop this big business, how to use nature, and to adapt some programs, what is going on in other countries. And for this purpose, it will be interesting to learn what Niagara College is doing, how they provide different practical training, technicians training program. For example, this water environment restoration technicians. So it's exactly they doing everything what I explained before. It's 1 year training program to teach GIS and mapping and how to plant trees and so on. And this Red River Basin Commission, transboundary commission between United States and Canada. And also they have Red River College, and it will be also they have 1 year training program based on the practical training. And now your well program is very interesting also. Please check all these links, and we may discuss, and maybe we can set up something similar, and to have some kind of foundation program in our countries, and exchange program to visit these colleges and learn from them, and to see in real how they doing, and adapt it for our countries, for Mongolia and Kazakhstan. And for all these activities, what I explained before, where we have this financial support, financial grant from our Ministry of Education and Science of Kazakhstan. So it's about $1 million. And we're hoping to have some kind of cooperation and have matching cooperation to have partners from other countries. Maybe we can set up some branches in Niagara or vice versa with each other to have some facilities. And Mongolia, for example, has this Orkhon UNESCO heritage facility, how to keep rivers. So it will be interesting for us, for Kazakhstan, to learn what Mongolia doing is UNESCO. We don't have this type of programs in Kazakhstan. So this type of money could be used for this type of exchange program and set up some visiting tours to each other. And let's discuss if we can have other funding. And it could be cooperation between two countries, or could be several countries, like have a joint percentage. So this could be interesting to work on. So this is just to resume. For this Middle Latitude Region Network, I propose to expand cooperation and to work on this contour strip organization of land, so what we are doing now, but we need more partners who can set up something similar. I want to learn what Mongolia is doing with South Korea. Hopefully we'll have these visits to see in real what Mongolia and South Korea are doing, and to develop these biosphere domes, this contour strip, and how soil works as sponges in different countries, and to set up cooperation with Niagara College. If you have interest, we may have a joint facility. For example, here we may build a small yurt on small land, and to have cooperation and to have a small land, for example, and it may work for promotion of Mongolia, because a lot of tourists from all over the world are here, and they may see, for example, small Mongolian or Kazakh restaurant or South Korean restaurant here, and there could be exchange program between different countries. And Red River College is on a transboundary basin between two countries, how it works. We may learn also all these activities. And let's see if we can expand this cooperation. If you have interest, please contact me. I would love to discuss more and expand this cooperation. Thank you very much.